what is a spiritual exemplification? An exemplification is a situation in which the master, the teacher, it can even be a friend that is established in a spiritual state to a degree that one can radiate it. And that state can be radiated, and then the receptor of that state can live that state. The state can be duplicated. So if one is extremely awake at the level of courage, and he's there, let's say, with a friend, and they are in a dangerous situation, if the friend is receptive, the one exemplifying the state of courage can just hold them and say a few words. And inside of that is not the words themselves, or not the words alone. There is a transmission of the state of courage. And as long as the friend stays, the not courageous friend stays with the courageous friend, he's there in his sphere of courage. So, spiritual masters, this is to give you like a, let's say, a more general example. Spiritual masters that live all sorts of extraordinary states of consciousness, very high spiritual, even cosmic states of consciousness, they were able, when the disciples are ready, to transmit those states to them. Swami Rama said to his guru, I suicide. 14 years I meditate. You tell me 7 years I meditate, 4 hours of meditation. Didn't happen. I meditated 14 years, 4 hours. If I can't enter states of enlightenment, states of samadhi, I kill myself. I'm going to drown myself in the river. And the guru told him, Rama, you can swim, you can jump in the river, nothing will happen. Tie a stone to you and then jump in the river, a big stone. So Swami Rama tied a big stone to him and he was walking towards the river to kill himself, because if he can't be enlightened, he doesn't want to live. And then the guru told him, Swami, come here. And he tapped on his forehead and exemplified to him the state of enlightenment, of cosmic consciousness, of samadhi. The same situation happened when Sri Yukteswar tapped on the forehead, maybe on the chest. He tapped either here or here for Yogananda, and with the touch of the finger brought him into such a state. Nityananda and Muktananda, again Nityananda the master, exemplified. To Muktananda, Ramakrishna put his foot on the chest of Vivekananda and put him in samadhi, and Vivekananda was so afraid. He says, don't you know I have a mother and father? So he took the foot out and he said, fine, if you don't want it now, later, then. So the inner state, in this case, states of cosmic consciousness, of samadhi, certain states of enlightenment, was transmitted, was exemplified from the master to the disciple. This is characteristics for this Mahasiddha yoga lineage, which existed both in Buddhism, in Tantra, in yoga, in Hinduism, in many different traditions. We have this Mahasiddha in which the master has certain spiritual states and emits them. And when the disciple is purified and ready, he copies that state. And then the master goes from this world, and then the disciple becomes the master holding these states, and it continues like that. The same with transcendental meditation. Guru Dev gave his powers to Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Very often spiritual masters will exemplify all sorts of states, because enlightenment is not accessible to everyone, so they can exemplify states of love, states of courage, states of peace. And then the responsibility of the disciple is to be openly receptive. It's a very particular receptivity. You need to clear your head. Yeah, to take another pair of master and disciple, the great Guru Yogi Lele met his disciple, who later became very famous, Sri Aurobindo. And he told him, Aurobindo said, I want to be enlightened. He says, okay, we meditate, but don't think. So for 3 days, Aurobindo stayed there without thinking and had this consciousness of Brahman, consciousness of the Absolute. When you are receiving an exemplification, you focus on your teacher, you focus on the state, if it's courage, if it's love, if it's peace, and you clear your mind from anything else. You don't start thinking, oh, my teacher is like this, my teacher is maybe like that. No, you just have it there in the background, the image, the face, the feeling like you are embracing your teacher, whatever. Have it there in the background. If it's a state of courage, open to courage. If it's love, open to love. And then cut any other thought. Cut, silence, 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 silence. And inside that silence, you can let it in. And eventually the state will become so intense, it will absorb you. It will carry you. But what our responsibility as disciples receiving an exemplification is to make a clear slot inside. Clean, clean, clean. Don't think. Don't allow thought to develop. Return to the meditation object, be it your teacher, the state. Together, you can focus on a particular space in your body or in your chakras as a support, but most important is to have this superior receptivity and openness and mental void. And it is through exemplification that the non-verbal part of spirituality passes. And without this non-verbal part, what remains? We stay with dogma. Because anything that can be expressed in words can later become political tools, will become a dry, heartless dogma. It is only through the non-verbal, direct experience of spirituality that the spiritual path remains fresh. The glory of early Christianity has dried. In many ways, Christianity has lost that. And all sorts of traditions, they started with a glorious spiritual experience, people making tremendous sacrifice. And then in time it became a dogma. There are still living currents of Christianity. But there's also many places where it's only words, without the direct fervor, without the direct intensity. That is done through this power of exemplification. So it is essential that we don't just take the words of the masters, but also their fervor, their light, their inner state. Because the essence of spirituality is non-verbal and unboxable, undefinable. We need to grasp it as such. To take a Christian story, many disciples would go very deep in the desert to meet Abba Anthony, who was the father of monk, one of the first Christian monks. And they would all ask questions and he would answer, and one would travel all this distance again and again in the desert and never ask anything. And Abba Anthony told him, "You never ask anything, why?" He says, "No, I just come to see you." It's just to receive the presence. The actual presence of a saint is enough to receive in our hearts this particular presence.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.